Hello Internet, I'm Scott, and I would like to take you back in time to the year 2004. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was still raging, and Wham was climbing the charts with their hit single, Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't wanna miss it.
Oh no, wait, that was 1984. Never mind. Everything was pretty much the same in 2004, except smartphones weren't a thing yet, so that was pretty lame. Anyway, I was a senior in high school in 2004, and one day, in February, I was eating my lunch when a friend of mine came and sat down across the table from me and started singing a song I hadn't heard before. It went a little something like this.
Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
I didn't know what the hell he was on about, or where this song of his had come from. So I chuckled politely and went about my day. Over the course of the next few weeks, several people pulled me aside in class or stopped me in the halls to sing this song to me. You know, because I'm Scott, and they thought it was funny to imply that I didn't know things. Now you have to understand that I was very cool when I was 17. Much too cool to admit that I didn't know where the hell this song was from or why it was suddenly so popular. It wasn't until years later when I actually saw the movie Euro Trip that I put two and two together. Euro Trip came out in 2004 and it featured this scene.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Still she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know.
This is Scotty. Matt Damon here plays a rock star who writes a very clever song about how he's banging Scotty's girlfriend, and Scotty doesn't know. Of course, now Scotty knows because he heard the song, so Scotty does know, but whatever, it's funnier to say Scotty doesn't know. I was super annoyed by this song for a long time, partially because everybody insisted on singing it to me, especially if I dared to use the phrase, I don't know, which, you know, isn't a common expression or anything. But I also hated it because they were calling me Scotty. Scotty, you see, is my legal first name. It says so on my birth certificate, it says so on my social security card. Growing up, everybody called me Scotty, which I had no problem with because that was my name. But then middle school rolled around. I got tired of being told to beam people up all the time, and one kid decided to give me the flattering nickname Shitty, because that kinda sorta sounds like Scotty, and 7th graders are very clever. I also felt like Scotty was a kid's name, and I was 13 for Christ's sakes. Time to grow the hell up. So when I enrolled at a new school in 8th grade, I insisted that my mom drop the Y from the end of my name, and I was known from that day forward as Scott. I was quite proud of my new name. I felt very grown up. I was very annoyed that my dad and my sister still insisted on calling me Scotty. Scott had a rough time though. 8th grade turned out to be one of the worst years of my life. I was suffering from severe anxiety and depression, and my name went from being a source of pride to a sound that I hated. Someone saying my name meant that they were paying attention to me, and at that point in my life I would much rather have been invisible. But I clung to my new name nonetheless. It was my act of defiance. I tolerated some of my peers calling me Scotty for a while, but in the aftermath of Scotty Doesn't Know, I made it clear that I hated that name. And I never let adults use it, because it sounded condescending coming from them. I felt that any day I was going to mature into my super self-confident grown-up self, and that the child known as Scotty would be forgotten, a relic of my anxious past that I was eager to be rid of. Funny enough, that didn't happen. I graduated from high school, nothing changed. I went to college, nothing changed. I graduated from college and moved away from home. Nothing changed. 10 years down the road, nothing has really changed. I'm basically the same person I was 20 years ago when I decided to drop the Y from the end of my name. Older, more experienced, certainly more mature, though not as mature as I envisioned I would be. I still suffer from anxiety and depression. I'm trying to find ways to cope with it, though, and not let it ruin my life more than necessary. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm succeeding. Looking back at the past year, I feel like there have been more good days than bad days. There will always be bad days. The major difference, I think, is that nowadays I'm allowing myself to have those bad days and then I just move on, as opposed to beating myself up for days on end for not being Mr. Cheerful as I tended to do in the past. A big part of that transformation has been my friends. I have the best friends in the whole wide world. They are the funniest, kindest, most interesting people you could ever hope to know. They know I have depression. They know I get anxious. They don't care. They never ask me to explain myself if I was having a bad day and couldn't leave the house. They're always happy when I'm there, and if I'm not, that's okay. They'll be happy to see me next time. I don't have to be Mr. Cheerful when I'm around them. I'm free to be myself. So what does any of this have to do with my name? Well, I introduced myself to all of them as Scott. But over time, most of my closest friends have taken to calling me Scotty. It's a nickname, a term of endearment. But it also serves as a bridge to my childhood, when that really was my name. And my parents and grandparents and everyone else in my family called me that. As I said earlier, my dad and my sister never did stop calling me that. I have lots of happy memories of the days when that was my name. And so today, I am reclaiming it. My name is Scotty, and this is my channel. If you want to know what I'm going to do with this channel, I'm going to use it to fight anxiety and depression. And hopefully I'll inspire more people to join the fight as I go. And this channel will be called Scotty Doesn't Know. Because Scotty doesn't know how to fight problems like anxiety and depression. But damn it, I'm gonna figure it out. So welcome to Scotty Doesn't Know. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you next week when the battle will begin.